We're going to go back out to the Capitol right now. Karina Kling, she's been updating us now, has a little bit more information about specifically those school cuts that we were anticipating perhaps, Karina.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we did talk with Education Commissioner Robert Scott just a little bit ago today, and the state board is there meeting for the first time this week with that newly elected board. We also talked to some lawmakers just on some of the new details that are coming out about this budget, this base budget, as I should say, and most of them are saying that they're calling on their constituents to speak up.
If this bothers you, make noise.
The possibility of 100,000 school district jobs being cut, debates over neighborhood schools having to close. As the newly elected State Board of Education meets in Austin this week, those ideas are sobering. Part of the challenge becomes, for instance, where to get money to pay for new textbooks or materials that prepare high schoolers for end-of-course exams.
It might mean we look for efficiencies. It might mean we look towards more online and digital learning. But either way, we need to make sure that that material is in the hands of teachers and students.
In the proposed budget, public schools would be cut short nearly $10 billion. That's money owed to districts under the current school finance formula. New legislation would have to be adopted to make up that money, which includes paying for new students coming into classrooms. Democrats were quick to criticize that the base bill doesn't account for growth.
You can talk about administrative efficiencies, but you're not going to replace 25% of state funding just through administrative cleanup. There are going to be changes made in the way the children are educated.
And then there's the battle over how future college students will be able to afford to go to school.
What's much more difficult under this initial plan, which again is a beginning, and I think it will change, is incoming next year's students have many less opportunities for financial aid.
Representative Dan Branch, who's been head of the Higher Education Committee, says Texas Grants, the state's main financial aid program, took a huge hit, almost 50%. 4 community colleges could close if the bill stays as is, but Branch pointed to federal programs for financial aid and enriched Pell Grants as a buffer.
I hope this doesn't force Texans to leave, but because I think their options are going to be better here.
The House and Senate have adjourned until Monday. The Senate is expected to come out with its base bill sometime next week. We were also told today that Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst has called on senators to take up voter ID, which Governor Perry called for another emergency legislation. They will be taking that up sometime on Monday. Paul?
Okay, Karina, thanks. We're going to talk about that and more with our political experts when Capitol Tonight returns here on YNN.